What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and our 2019 ESPN FPI breakdowns continue here on our SEC football channel. LSU is up next. This is a team that the FPI really likes, and I really liked this team a lot ever since the season ended last year with what they have coming back. I think LSU could be a very, very dangerous team, and the FPI actually thinks that LSU might have a chance to even win the SEC West. Let me show you the numbers. They are ranked as the number 4 team in the country. Number 4 in the country. There are 3 SEC teams in the top 4 according to the FBI. They are projected to go roughly 9-3 or 10-2 depending on how things play out. And again, remember that does also account for a potential SEC championship game. So they have roughly a 30% chance of winning the SEC West, and there's not an exact number here provided, but because of those numbers you can figure out that they have roughly a 30% chance of winning the SEC West, which is a pretty good shot when you got Alabama in that division. Only a 1.5% chance of going undefeated, but an 11.4% chance of winning the SEC. Not great odds, but not that bad either when you consider, like I said, they're in the same division as Alabama. And the schedule, you see here, they have the number 10 toughest schedule in the country according to FBI. And here is that schedule. You can see a lot of green. They're favored in every single game except for that game against Alabama. So you would say, why wouldn't they be 11-1? Well, you just have to average out all these games, and the odds are that they're going to lose 1 or maybe even 2 of these games where they're favored. At least that's what the FBI says. But Georgia Southern, they're at 96.7%. That could be a little bit of an interesting game, but yeah, they should win that one. Even on the road at Texas, 74.4% chance of winning that game. That is a very high number. I'm surprised it's that high because it's on the road. If the game was in Baton Rouge, I would probably agree with that, and I do have LSU winning that game, but I think it's one that Texas could potentially win. So I think that number should be down 60% or even lower than that potentially. A 99.8% chance against Northwestern State, 84% chance of beating Vanderbilt on the road, 97.9% chance of beating Utah State. That is a game that they've got to be careful in. Remember, Troy beat LSU a couple of years ago at home. Utah State is going to be a very dangerous team. That is one that I think should definitely be a little bit lower. Maybe an 85% chance of winning that game, but it is definitely no guaranteed win. They have a 70.3% chance of beating Florida at home. Because they're at home, I think that's why that number is so high. I think those two teams are fairly even when you look at them. 65.3% chance of winning, on the road at Mississippi State. So they have a better chance of beating Florida at home than they do of beating Mississippi State on the road. That is interesting, and the same thing could be said about Auburn. They have a better chance of beating them at home. That Mississippi State game could be a little bit tricky, and I think I mentioned that in my prediction video over on the main channel. That could be a game where I could see LSU slipping up. Alabama, they're at 25.2%, so not a great chance of winning that game, but they do have a shot. Again, a 1 out of 4 chance of winning that game. Big favorites against Ole Miss, 82.7% even on the road. Arkansas is at 94.2%. That is a very high percentage for a conference game. And then they have Texas A&M at home. That one's at 73.4%. So they have them with a very good shot. But those are kind of those tricky games. Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M, Mississippi State on the road. Those are the games that you see a pretty high percentage there. But those could be games that could sneak up on LSU. But if they're able to do this and go 11-1 with this schedule, it's hard to say that LSU would be out of the playoffs. I think they probably would get into the college football playoffs. And what is interesting, and I've been saying this for a while, if Georgia and Alabama run the table in the regular season and LSU goes 11-1, it is possible that we could get 3 SEC teams in the college football playoffs, depending on what happens around the rest of the country. But that is not a crazy thing. That could actually happen this year, and the schedules do kind of set up that way. But we'll see. Again, the FBI really likes LSU, have them favored in all but one game, but they do think they'll trip up in 1 or 2 other games and ultimately finish with 9 or 10 wins. Your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more here on our SEC football channel.